And that was a selection of pages from Night Owl and other teletext and BBS services from the past 40 years, kindly supplied to us courtesy of Brian Martin of the Night Owl BBS, details of which are on screen now. If you want to join, it's live, it's running right now. The details, you want to log in via a BBS port system, port 6400, alternatively 2 web addresses if you want to log in via modern online browsers. A very good evening to you. This is youtube.com/Wi-Fi Sheep live. The time has just gone 2000 hours GMT. Hello, how are you doing? Good evening and a very warm welcome to 8 Till Late live on youtube.com/Wi-Fi Sheep with me, Tom. Thank you once again for your company. I hope you are well this evening. How are you doing? Before we go on any further, and I've got a fair bit to get through tonight, we must, before I forget, thank our members, our Patreon backers and YouTube channel members. There they all are. A huge thank you to each and every one of them that continues to support me on a monthly basis to allow me to do what I do here with the live 8 to 8 program and all the other content produced on Wi-Fi Sheep and of course Wi-Fi Sheep channel 2. If you want to join them, you can do so via Patreon. It's patreon.com/Wi-Fi Sheep, or alternatively, you can support me right here on YouTube by clicking the join button. Base member support starts from 99 pence all the way up to £2.99, and that will be converted into your local currency. If it can't be, then you'll see it in US dollars. Once again, a huge thank you to everyone that so kindly continues to back me. A reminder of show dates, and this is what I'm going to talk about in a moment. Show dates coming up. We have the Ethernet LAN party, which has been confirmed. It's Saturday the 7th and Sunday the 8th of June 2025. It's the National Museum of Computing, Bletchley Park, Milton Keynes. The details have now gone live for that, and tickets are now live for that as well. I'll talk about that very shortly, but fantastic to have the event happening. I'm going to be there for both days, by the way, and we'll talk about that very shortly. Then a little bit later this year, hard to think about November. We haven't had Christmas. We haven't had summer yet. Be thinking of Christmas come November. Cambridge Retro Computer Festival, and that'll be Saturday the 15th, Sunday the 16th of November 2025. It's my full intention to be there for both days for that as well. Yes, so as I said, good evening. How are you doing? So the tickets for the Ethernet LAN party event happening at the National Museum of Computing, Bletchley Park, have gone live. I got the notification yesterday that they had gone live. I'm currently looking at the wrong web page, but hang on a moment. Right, there we are. Get yourself sorted, Tom. Right, so a bit of luck. This will work. There we go. There we are. Right, so there is the details. This is on the forum at star.org.uk. That's stardot.org.uk. And it's at the top of the forum pages, actually, where you'll find TNMOC Ethernet LAN Party, June the 7th and 8th, 2025. And there is an Eventbrite link, which we can go to. And I'll give you some ideas of pricing, so we can select tickets. We'll get tickets for this. I don't know if can I log it. No. Okay. So for the entire weekend, this includes a donation to the museum. 10% donation is £36.50. All prices, by the way, are British pounds sterling. So £36.50 for both days, and one day admission is £24.60 per day, if you like. So it works out a lot cheaper to buy the the weekend emission, which I have done. There's also an option here for to put your name down for a evening pub ticket. This is, I suppose, some local pub or something. I haven't got the details on this yet. For a social gathering and potential meal, not included in the price. You have to pay for your own food, drinks, etc. separately. But that just gives them some idea. I have put myself down for that. Not 100% I'm going to do it, but it depends what the details are and if it's logistically easy to get to. With cars, hotels, etc. Then yeah, might absolutely do that as well. So really looking forward to the event. They have actually got some details of what they're doing. So they've got 15-minute stand-up talks. Be playing some short talks on Ethernet themes. And these will be informal talks, visitors. We can read it for yourself there. A variety of figures in the Acorn community. I'm not doing anything as far as I'm aware. If I am, that's news to me. And it gives you an idea here of the schedule. So that gives you some idea of what's going on. And yeah, it should be really, really interesting. There's a few rules which are there, mainly about not having cub monitors open, so we're not running thousands of volts exposed to members of the public, which yeah, makes sense. I'll run with that. So I better, before we continue, I better put the link to this in the chat, so if you want to link through, because I keep forgetting to do that. Right, hello, let's go in there, and there we go. And while I'm in the chat, we'll just say hello and say good morning then. Good evening to George, Paulie B, Brian Martin and Martin Parker. Hello both, all of you rather. How are you doing this evening? Great to have your company. Yeah, so looking forward to that. So it's nice we've sort of got that sorted out. I booked the hotel ahead of time. Everyone's paying, by the way. I'm not getting any cheaper or going for free or anything, so I've paid just as much as everyone else would, but I don't mind so much because it is supporting the National Computer Museum, so it kind of makes sense. And I don't mind being there for both days. It's nice to hang out with people, it's nice to chat with people, and obviously you've got a bunch of great content, not only in all the Acorn hardware that's coming in from visitors, but also obviously what is in the machine. And it's just nice to sort of hang out there for 2 days. So I strongly recommend it. If you can make it down to Milton Keynes Bletchley Park, do consider it, because I think it is going to be well worth it. A lot of fun. Right, anyway, update for the week then. So, car problems for me. Again, battery flat. Car wouldn't, well, it lit up, but it wouldn't turn over, it wouldn't start. I'm having this on and off for a few days. Knowing that my car battery is potentially weak, well, I was hoping it was the car battery and not the immobiliser, because if it was the immobiliser, that was going to be expensive, but I think it's the car battery. Spoilers. So I went to work, and it spluttered in the morning, then it turned over and started. So I drove to work, left it on the car park at work for an hour, a bit paranoid, went back to it, started up on the car park at work, fine, thought nothing of it, went back to work, or went back inside to work, did a whole day of work, finished, came at about 5:15 that evening back to the car to go home, wouldn't turn over, flat. And I'm just like, oh God. Luckily, because of where I work, Harper Adams University Engineering Department, there's a whole automotive garage engineering block, which I have access to. It's part of my department. So if you're going to have a vehicle breakdown, I nearly said mental breakdown then. If you're going to have a vehicle breakdown, that's probably not a bad place to have a problem. So luckily, a colleague of mine was very, very kind in grabbing one of those battery jump starter things that you tap on the battery and it gives it a 12-volt shock. And we have a couple of those at the uni. So I borrowed one. Luckily, it was charged. Put it on the car, on the battery terminals of the car, and started no problem first time. So I was like, right, great, engine running. Took it with me, so I've borrowed it for the weekend. So I'll definitely bring it back Monday morning. But I borrowed it for the weekend in case, let's say, I stalled and I couldn't get the car running again. So took it with me home, but luckily was able to run home. And bless it, I've ordered a battery, but because I don't trust the car to go and get a battery, it will break down again. bless her, Anna, that's my fiance, has actually gone and picked me up a new car battery for nearly £100, which I've obviously paid for in advance. But so that's all been fun this week. Computer wise, what I'm hoping to do today, I want to show you a project very shortly, which in a moment. I've been recording a video today, so I've literally spent the afternoon. I had to do chores and chickens and things this morning, but I've actually been recording a new video for the channel, which will be going live, well, when I've edited it, and it will go out to our Patreon and YouTube channel members first, and the rest of you will see it in due course. And then so basically I've been recording a video, and I can't leave the chat open because it's distracting me. Sorry everyone, chat away by all means. I'll come back in a minute, but I can't. It's there, and I just can see it on my screen, and I lose my train of thought. No, yeah. So I'll be doing a new video on rather a cool little project I shared with you last week. Which, if we go back again, not sponsored. I know we've been doing some sponsored stuff of late. We might come back to that in a moment. I know the latest video you've seen will be sponsored. Let's see now. That's not the right one. Hang on. Keep it together. Web browser. There we go. Right. Okay. So you may remember last week I mentioned that I'd ordered one of these, what I thought were super cool kits for an Apple Macintosh Mac 128K. So a sort of like clone kit version of the original Mac. And it arrived the other day. I built it this afternoon, and I have it in a box right here. So you'll see the video, but if you'll indulge me for a moment, I just wanted to share with you. So here it is. So the Raspberry Pi Pico microcontroller doesn't come with the kit. Right, so you have to buy that separately. Obviously, me being me, I have a few of those lying around, so it's not so much a problem. So that's a brand new, that's saying Pico 1, that's the original microcontroller. If you're not familiar, by the way, the Raspberry Pi Pico is Raspberry Pi's microcontroller. It's not the same as an original, or a Raspberry Pi Zero. I haven't got a Zero lying around, but I got that Zero from last week in the junk pile. But, right, that's a single board computer, Raspberry Pi Zero. This is the Raspberry Pi Pico, which is a microcontroller. It's still ARM Cortex M0 on the original. And they recently updated it. I still have it in the bags. It shows you how little I actually do with this stuff. And they then updated it to the Raspberry Pi Pico 2, which jumped from Cortex M0 to ARM Cortex M33. For microcontrollers, these things are insanely powerful. I mean, these are properly powerful, like 200 and something K of RAM, 1 megabyte, was it 2 megabytes of flash storage space. It's insane what they can do. Because they've got the amount of processing power, also they're dual core 32-bit chipset. So because of this, they're actually able to drive things like a proper USB interface, and just on the board they've got enough RAM, enough memory, enough power to drive things like SD card interface and full VGA. You've seen that with some of the other development boards that we played with on the channel. So this is the kit. I'll just take out the microcontroller. So I had to solder up. When they come literally like that. Yep. So you have to put your own pin header legs on. So I've soldered that one up. This is the kit. Now, I added a little bit of pin header here, just because I wanted the SD card or SD card interface to actually slot in. On the original design, you're actually meant to just solder it straight in. Very, very simple board. The only thing I didn't fancy doing was the surface mount for the what's meant to be the 5-volt power. And no, I wasn't particularly keen on that, in all honesty. So what I've done instead is I've got one of these off the shelf. I know this is a bit crude, but just bear with me. Off the shelf USB 5-volt, micro USB 5-volt sockets. I've then got it connected to a switch, so I've now got power. And then literally I just tapped the 5 volts in and the ground on the underside of the pins. So that now gives me basically what I need. The others bits on here, there's two. This is basically for the DAC, if you like, digital analog conversion. This is for the RGB side. So you've got two 66 ohm resistors, and then there's one 100 ohm. The 100 ohm wasn't in my kit, so it must have got missed out, so I had to rummage around. But luckily, obviously, I've got 100 ohm resistors, so I just managed to dig out 100 ohm resistors. I popped that in. And we have a diode. The diode is simply in circuit, I think, to stop you plugging this in the wrong way and breaking things. And boy, have I done that a few times with stuff, if I'll admit that. But I've also managed to get me a cup of tea this morning. So why do I keep saying this morning? It's been a long day. This evening. Back in the chat. Where are we? We'll say hello. Evening to Keop Troy. Evening. Where's George said? I had a truck with some electrical thing where there was a wide change in temperature. It seems to flatten the battery. I think, in all honesty, just going back to the car issue, I think the battery is just flat, in all honesty. I think it may be the original. 2016 Hyundai is what I bought. Hyundai i20, if you're interested. 2016. So I'm not buying new cars. I'm just not doing that. Don't have the funds to do that. So it may have the original battery in it. And the car it's only done 57,000 miles in its life. So it's probably been driven a lot more now as my commuter car. And I'm doing 40 miles a day. 20 miles there, 20 miles back. So probably just killed the battery. So anyway, I'm going to put a new battery in and that will fix that. We'll also say hi to Paul. Hello, Paul. Hi, how you doing? Thanks for joining us this evening. Right, anyway, that's chat over for a minute. So back to this. So these boards I thought were great. And so I've soldered it up. So I've done all the work underneath. It's actually the flux residue. And that is now apparently a Apple Mac 128K, the original Mac, plus SD card interface. Yeah, so, but the next thing you need to flash an image onto the Pico. Now, you don't need SD cards for this to work. Now, I'll show you the original. Let's go back to... Where are we? Let's just go back to browser. So this is the project on GitHub. This is the original project for Pico Micro Mac. And it's using an emulator, a custom emulator developed called UMac. And it talks about all the peripherals, how it works, setting it up, crunching, compiling, etc. Pinout. It's all there. Software, video. And the person who developed it, a fellow Englishman from the sounds of it, Matt Evans. So copyright to for Matt Evans. Yeah, that's all very nice and very good. Luckily, a couple of sites, including picomac.bluescuzzy.com, have gone ahead and saved us a lot of time and pain by actually developing some custom images and image files that we can use for SD card, including a Mac image here for the SD card, which is a bit I haven't tried yet. Now, what I did is, just to save time, I just downloaded this firmware for the Pico with SD card hat. Now, what's interesting about this other configuration is basically we don't have to just emulate the 128K. For all its sort of nostalgia and hype, because obviously being a Steve Jobs project and the first Apple Macintosh, the 128K basically didn't do a lot of anything because it didn't have any RAM to do anything. 128 wasn't enough. It was very quickly superseded by the Mac 512 and then the 1MB Mac Plus. Very few 128 stayed as 128s. Most of them were upgraded to at least 512s. Now, we don't have 512 K of RAM on a Raspberry Pi Pico. We have 200 and... is it 25? No, a bit more than that. 240, something like that. So basically, this image here expands the usable RAM that the operating system, the Mac OS or Apple system, can see. So it actually gives you something called a Mac 208K. And it also expands the resolution out to 640 by 480. The original Mac was 512 by 4 something. It was a strange resolution, which I forget offhand what it was. But this basically expands it out. So what I've done is I've used this image. It also embeds a floppy boot image onto the drive, with some software as a read-only drive. That basically means that you don't need a disk image on the SD card to boot the system. The original Mac had no hard drive. It needed a floppy drive to actually run. So, and I'm just here, sorry, I'm now back at the chat. So, Joe from Blue Scuzzy is coming to one of our local events in the US to do a build event. Ah, that's cool. Part of it is a soldering workshop. Yeah, I'm always hesitant when I do soldering because always, people go, yeah, you can't solder. I just get really fed up with it in the end. I don't pretend to be an expert, but that's all right. It works. So anyway, so we download that image, which I was just talking about. You then, I won't do it now as we don't need to. We then literally plug this via USB, micro USB, into the PC. It mounts, all Picos do this, they mount as an actual drive. And all you have to do is copy and drag the file, the UF8, what's the file name called? I can't remember now. It's UF something, which I can't remember. UF2, there we are. I knew it was something like that. Right. So it creates a UF2 file. You just have to drag the UF2 file onto the boot drive that appears. And it then installs, and then it dismounts itself, and it's done. It's flashed. So that's it. Now, if we put this in here, and so you can see, I've got a, where's my capture card gone? There it is. I've got a VGA, by the way, it's always VGA out on these. So it's VGA to HDMI adapter. The only thing about this, by the way, is it doesn't do sound at the moment. That's not to say that won't change, but at the moment it doesn't do sound. So there's no sound emulation, unfortunately. So let's just plug this in. Make sure that this adapter needs its own power supply. There we go. And I've got a, it's not a Fisher Raspberry Pi, but I've got a sort of compatible Raspberry 2 power supply, which was the micro USB. Let's pop that in there. Obviously I've left my switch on. Okay. This, by the way, I just pulled out the box. I had this pre-wired for something. So, okay. So this is all off at the moment. Let's go to capture card. Now if I turn on, watch this, he says. By the way, this artifacting, I don't know what this is. I'm getting this as well. So it's not the capture cards. It's doing it on a monitor as well. But check that out. And that is an early build of an Apple system actually running, the Macintosh running as, in this case, a Macintosh 208K, which is a fictitious system that never existed. But it is really, really cool. And yeah, what's great about this and why I think this is such a fantastic project is we've seen emulated Macs before. We've been running Mac OS on the Raspberry Pi for the past decade or so. What's fantastic about this, what I remind you, is what you're looking at is running off a microcontroller. There's no Linux underlying operating system. Yes, it's an emulation, but it's a bare metal emulation. And it's embedded a whole disk image with some software actually into the image. So we are running literally from the flashed ROM of the Raspberry Pi Pico, which is really, really impressive. But it actually gets even cooler than that. So we've now got it running, and I can now plug a USB keyboard and mouse in, believe it or not. So I've got here a OTG compatible hub, and we just plug that. This is why you can't go power in here, because you need this socket, this USB socket clear to plug in a hub. And I can now attach a keyboard and mouse. So I was thinking about this. I was just testing with the generic ones I normally have on the in the studio. But I thought, what would be appropriate to test with? So I'm just going to pop that out of the way. Now, excuse me a minute while I zoom us out. So sorry for the blurry vision a minute. Just we need a slightly wider angle so you can see this. Okay. So I was thinking about what would be more appropriate, most appropriate to test with. So I haven't tested this, so I don't know if this is going to work, but let's give it a shot. First of all, I thought, well, mice, the mouse, which is done by Retro Games Limited for the Amiga, is sort of Mac mouse shaped. It's not quite the same, but it's quite a close analogue. So I thought, let's try one of those. I've got a bit tangled up. So you might remember I was using this with the C64 and the various click and point operating systems that system uses. But it does kind of, okay, it's not quite the Mac mouse, but you know, it looks, yeah, about right. So let's plug that in. Now, I was just running with generic USB PC type keyboards earlier, but I thought let's try and push the boat out. And how about using, apologies, this is a bit grubby and dusty because I've literally dug it out from a cupboard. How about using an original iMac 1998-1999 keyboard? This is the strawberry coloured ones for the strawberry iMac, which I do have in the room in store at the minute. Do you remember it used to sit behind me? So it used to sit, long time ago, it used to sit about here. Might remember that. Yeah, I've just took it out of use because I needed the space. But anyway, right, so now, interestingly, these keyboards never worked properly. The Mac ones never worked properly with the original Raspberry Pi. And they were problematic with the Raspberry Pi 2 because they actually pulled too many volts through because they actually had their own hub in. So I'll be very interested to see if this works. Let's see if it does. Okay. Right. So, well, I can see the mouse is jittering around. I might need to put a mouse mat down because I don't think this thing's going to like running on the table too much. But there we go. The mouse feels a little strange, but it's working. And if I go Mac right, does the keyboard work? No, it doesn't work. Interesting. One thing you will notice with this, actually, if I go back, it's such an old version of macOS, there's no multi-finder. So the Finder can't run. Finder, by the way, for macOS is the thing that generates all the desktop icons of the windows. It can't run, so you have to click quit, and then it will relaunch the Finder. In this build, which is, what version are we? Macintosh Finder, version 1.1 from 84, one of the originals. Basically, there's no shutdown. So you literally have to just, this is why I've got the little power switch, actually. So you can literally just turn it off. Just turn it back on again and see if it's going to like this Mac keyboard. I had a feeling it might have problems with it. Yeah, doesn't like the keyboard. It's probably drawing too much power. Is probably what the problem is. Yeah, and that's all. Hang on, I'm in the wrong. Yeah, somehow my mouse isn't working. So yeah, I think we can. I had a feeling it might be a bit problematic. Just too heavy on voltage, which is a shame. So we need to power back down, and I need a keyboard with a Windows key at the very least, which is one. If I got a sticker on it, is a Windows key. So let's just try putting these in. Okay, booting up again. It boots quite fast as well, which is nice. So I don't quite know what this strange There we go. This strange patterning. I can see that as well on my monitor. So yeah, it's some strange artifacting. So it's not perfect. Right, Mac right. Yes, much lighter keyboard is much happier. So like generic PC keyboard is happy with that. Wrong aspect ratio. There we go. Actually, is the command key even? That's hilarious. It's actually, they haven't implemented shortcut commands yet. Are you serious? So you couldn't go command. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Macs, you're probably familiar with PCs that go in Control C, Control V, that kind of thing. The Macs didn't do that, and they still don't do that now. So if you're like me and actually are a Mac user still, you'll know this. But basically, what is denoted as the Windows key doubles up on what we call the Apple or Command key on a Mac. And instead of Control C, Control V, it's Command C, Command V, Command Q, quit, etc. But that's hilarious that this. I'm so old that they didn't implement this into the system yet, which is astonishing. Memory free 99%, memory used 1%. This is proper old. No, because we can't save changes. Mac Paint, by the way, which was the application, doesn't work. First of all, notice how it's still expecting the smaller original Mac resolution. Because I'm running in a kind of slightly obscure 640 by 480, it doesn't quite cope with it. It doesn't redraw, so we can't use any of the extra real estate. Sorry. And also it can't find what we call a scratch disk or workspace on the default drive, because the default drive is read-only because it's in ROM. It wants to create something it can write to, and it can't do that. And so you get cancel and it quits. We do have some applications like Control Panel, which can run inside the Finder. I'm pretty sure the original Mac had a command key. He says there's no sound at the moment. You'll also notice how there's no Finder or clock or anything up here. That just hadn't been thought about yet, so we're kind of before that time. But you do have sort of setups. It won't remember any of this because it's all in ROM, so it can't set any presets. And then, of course, we've got a series of games, stuff that will actually run. I would like to get Mac Paint running, actually. So to do that, we need to put an image file onto the SD card, the bit I haven't tested yet. Yep, so let's go back to our web browser, and there is an image here. So the firmware requires bootable disk image placed on the root of FAT32 formatted SD card. Bootable image for including Mac Paint. So if I download that, it's saying it's an unsafe file, but hang on, I just download the damn file. Come on. Thank you. Right. So let me just cut back. Apologies a minute. This is going to go a bit. Yeah. Okay. So we've done that. BBEM still runs for our thing in the background. Downloads. And I just need to. So UMAC 0 should be the disk image. Interesting how it's 32 megabyte disk, really? Okay, that's very interesting. Okay, so if we now go and have a look for, we need an SD card. I found this one. This one here, which is 4 gig, which was being used for KickPi, which I thought we'd reuse that. So if I go, let's find this. So, because I don't have a card reader, so let's just pop that in the card reader. Pop that onto the PC. Right. Hear me out on this. So if we now go back to, and again, apologies for the, where are we? No, I don't want to print the screen. God's sake. Right. We need to do, hang on, I'm going to brain fart trying to think what I'm doing here. Right. So we now go back to desktop again. Again, apologies for that. Right. SD card formatter. It's always good to have these tools. So we have a directory here, which is D, quick format. Just call it, I don't think we need to call it anything in particular. So yeah, just format the card. Okay. Nice empty boot drive on D, fantastic. Click, drag that on there. Okay. Let's eject that. Yep, that's great, thank you. Okay. Now then, if we now take this card, let's power down the system. Again, I've not tried this yet, so let's see what happens. Now, if we boot up, let's see what it does. That's different. Interesting. Interesting. So it's not, it's okay. And this has created a huge disk image. And there's lots of games. Lots of games. See, this is really easy hobbyist computing because all the hard work has been done for us. So, how interesting. Programs, Matte Write, Matte Paint. Will Matte Paint now work? It will. There we go, it actually works. It's actually quite fast. Quite nippy, but the mouse is a little bit floaty. It's slightly strange how it moves. Do you know what? I remember a lot of these pads because I started using Mac probably around 1990, 91. And it was the first computer platform I was ever introduced to. Bearing in mind I was about 4 years old around that time. And Dad had an office issue, one of the very first Mac portables, and it had a 1-bit black and white system, not too dissimilar to this. It was a System 6, I think, either sort of late System 6, very early System 7. But it was the first computer experience I had, long before I did the 8-bit BBC Micro stuff. No, that's cool. And typing still work. No selecting options, but yeah, no to that. So one assumes if we, and everyone says use Mini VMac, which is the emulator everyone used to traditionally use for emulating early Mac for Raspberry Pi. One assumes that we could open these images, we could add additional software. So yeah, okay. I'm trying to think what I'm not familiar with a lot of these. There's a lot of games. I'm guessing Bricks is pretty self-explanatory. A lot of these would have been mouse controlled. I mean, they're simple, but and as George said, yes, that's a lot of room. Yeah, I know. I thought that this is like, but it's a 32 megabyte. I said gigabyte now. Megabyte disk image for a machine that was only really expecting what 400k disk images originally. I think they managed to double them up to 800. And what was the biggest hard drive? It was like the Apple Profiler hard drive, wasn't it? That it shared with Lisa. And what was that? 5 megabytes? It was something like 5 or 10. No, I think it was 5 megabyte, the hard drive. So we've just given it a virtual disk image, which is like 32 megabytes in size. So that's actually good, because what I'm hoping to do is add... Hang on. Oh. Got stuck. Come on. What I'm hoping to do is to actually rerun oh, come on. That's not fair. That's not fair. There we go. I'm hoping to add some additional software that we can actually get to run on this, because this could be a really cool little platform to play with. Especially as it's, it's cost me next to nothing to make. I have tested some add-ons, and in the video, which will be coming up, you'll see I have a plan for this. I don't get too distracted because I've got a lot of Acorn projects that need doing, and it's very easy to get distracted, especially when you have a new plaything that's really, really cool. What I like about this is, because the brilliant work that others have done, it's cost me next to nothing, and we've got a working Mac with quite a bit of software to play with, which is cool. And not owning, I have the original family Mac, the Performer 630, which was the first machine we had in about 94, 95. I do have it, and I need to do a video on that at some point. But I don't have a sort of a Mac Classic format, so yeah, I died. There we go. And in the chat, I've just seen, so Paulie OB saying, I bet someone has made a case to recreate the old Mac screen and computer base unit to house this. Yeah, they exist, absolutely. Yeah, you can, in fact, if we go, just bear with me a minute. By the way, I hate using the Edge web browser. I really, really, really hate using it. So I need to switch to Google Chrome. But just give me a moment. So we go to STL. Sorry, just bear with me. Right. If we now go to pop Edge back on for you. So there we go. Right. There we are. So STL Finder. And if we go Mac 128K. You'll find there's actually a few people have done 3D print models. So there's a Mac Plus. And that goes to Thingiverse. and it's perhaps not the best model in the world, but someone has actually done. You can get CAD basically is the point I'm trying to make. What's that one? Some of these will be pay. Yeah, some of these are actually the better ones generally tend to be pay. In fact, that looks beyond good. I can't believe that's not just a machine, in all honesty. Really? But yeah, basically the point I'm trying to make is it's not difficult to get hold of CAD that kind of does what you need. Kind of lacking a lot of the detail there for 3D printing, but let's just try Mac. Let's just try typing Macintosh in Thingiverse. Oops, I can't spell right for starters. Macintosh. Yeah. There are many versions of. Yeah, I don't think getting hold of something that works is too much of a problem. There's cases for Raspberry Pis. There's even a Lisa. So you could actually make a pretty neat looking Macintosh XL, which was the Macintosh running, or the Macintosh operating system running on top of the Lisa hardware via an emulator. Or you could go very modern abstract. But I think part of me does like the idea about printing a giant beige box, in all honesty. But yeah, there's some. That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad at all, actually. Really? Yeah, okay. It's cool. Especially if someone's done a lot of the hard work for you, if you know what I mean. We're not trying to run as a whole PC there. But yeah, you could fabricate something very easily, actually. And that saves a lot of time. The biggest problem I've got of actually saying that, is that the case? Is that, no, I beg your pardon, that's just an internal frame. Which is interesting, but I want a whole case. I want a whole case, hang on. I do like the classic. They slightly changed the design for the classic, and that's actually not bad. Yeah. What on earth is that? Hang on a minute. What is that in the middle? With support, really? Okay. Why not just print it on its... Oh, it's probably too big. Yeah, the thing is you do need quite a big 3D printer. I mean, even if you scaled that down a bit, I'm trying to think, would one of my machines... Might have to break that up into parts, actually, to then get that to fit and then sort of glue it back together, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I mean, there was a mini version. So, yeah, I mean, um, would I want to do a one-to-one scale version? It'd be nice, but it'd be quite... even though the Mac, in whatever form factor, from 1 to 8 through to the Classic, wasn't a huge machine, it's a full-size one-to-one scale one would be a little bit bulky. Scaling down a little bit, maybe not quite half size, but scaling down, you know, to maybe, what was a 9-inch CRT, I think. Was it 9-inch in those? So maybe go to like 7-inch flat screen or something size, then yeah, that would work. But yeah, so basically what I am thinking about doing is running off some of these 3D print models just to see if I can build something that looks kind of cool. Because I wouldn't mind something like that, especially if we've got such a great little, you know, working Mac. How do I, there we are, get the mouse back. We've got a, you know, a working kit-made Mac or Mac OS. This is just for the benefit of Gartmorn, who's just joined us. And hello, how are you? I haven't seen you in a little while. Hope you're all right. Yeah. So just in case you're joining us now, basically I built this little kit. It's a kit, soldered together mini kit to make a Mac 128 out of a Raspberry Pi Pico microcontroller. And you plug a keyboard, mouse, SD card, which we've just done. And this is the live video output. And we're actually running Mac OS on a microcontroller. Bare metal. There is an emulator, but there's no Linux. There's no Raspberry Pi OS underneath this. If I I'll show you the boot up again. So if I pull the power, I boot up again. This is real boot time. And you'll notice there's no Linux kernel. It just goes straight in to booting the Mac ROM. There we go. Superb. Yeah, I want to look at asteroids. What on earth's happened there? What is that? What is that? That's got a bit, okay. I think we've hit there's a little bit of a glitch. That's hilarious. It's interesting how most of these disk images had to come with some sort of base operating system, so hence system to run, because you had to have a boot operating system on each disk. Bear in mind the Mac, as I said, didn't have a hard drive, so you had a ROM, but you then had to have basically a soft boot system that sat on top of the ROM. What I will show you is a Frogger. How's that work? One player. Hang on. Right. Oh, it's not seeing the arrow keys. That's very interesting. And get what I'm saying, is that the one from Spider? Do you mean Spider-Man or Spider-Math? I don't know what the board. Where did the board come from? No, I don't think it is. It's basically, if we go back to we go down the bottom, so there's a lot of people making variations of this board. I just basically bought the cheapest one. And they're all basically cloning the designs, which is fine. I just bought, this is what I bought. I bought the cheapest just to have a play with it, just to see what it does. And yeah, great fun. By the way, there's about to be some noise in a minute because my darling fiance has just returned home. She's quite late this evening, so the dog will go nuts in a minute, and she'll probably forget that I'm live streaming. So in a minute she'll shout up something highly inappropriate and very, very funny, because she won't realise I'm live. So hang on, key for up. So if I go back to computers on the go now, can't cope. There we go. Right. Key for up I, key for right L. Yeah. There wasn't any arrow keys on an original Mac, was there? There wasn't any arrow keys on an original Mac. That's why it doesn't see the arrow key. I knew that. Okay. Right. Let's play. Let's see what happens. I'll give it a minute. It may really not like the strange resolution, or the slightly odd memory size has thrown it. I think we broke. But I am right, aren't I? There wasn't any arrow keys on an original Macintosh, because Steve Jobs was like, "Well, we've got a mouse, so we don't need cursor keys." So Frogger broke. There we are. Who knew? I bet. What is going on with this asteroids folder that I now can't close? I mean, that is you use multi-finder. And now we've got a that's interesting. All of a sudden we've got a shutdown option. We didn't have that before. So is this a newer build of... It is a much newer build of Finder. Version 5. Oh, right. So we're actually on... You know, see, we've got this 208K going on. We are version... So we're actually System 5. Are we System 5? Don't know what... I can't close my asteroid folder. I'm trying to right click it, for God's sake, that ain't gonna work. So what happens if I try and eject my floppy drive? What happens? Okay, that's interesting. Click the file. It's still, damn it. I can't, it's sort of opened a window. You can't close. Close? Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah. Okay. That's hilarious. I want to play Asteroid, never mind. I'm trying to think. I don't know what a lot of this stuff is actually. I know Load Runner. That's we have it on the BBC Micros. This is from Broderbund. Let's go. I'll be terrible at this, but let's go new game. Bear in mind, so there's no sound, so it just follows the. There is a way of playing this that I. Come on. Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, not saying I'm good. So, as I said before, because we're running in an artificial 640 by 480 pixel resolution, which I've chosen to do, you don't have to run it like this. But all it does is just black borders, which isn't ideal. It's still quite fun though, in a kind of weird way. As I've never really played this on the BBC Micro either, which I probably should. Now what do I do? Oh, I missed one. Damn it. Anyway. So if I eject that, I hit find, and there we are. Yeah, so this has a huge potential for just, you know, I mean, you could just play with this all night. Really, really could. So really enjoyed the build. So new video on this coming very shortly, and we'll do some follow-up stuff. And as Paulio suggested, absolutely, yeah, possibility of 3D printing and actually building a Mac would be really cool, and hence why I have actually got another one of these mice. This is the Retro Games mouse. Oh, by the way, you know, when I've been soldering before, these cameras I use don't filter out the infrared or ultraviolet light, so you can actually see on the mouse. So I can't see that in reality. There's nothing. It's not flashing. You see how it's actually showing the mouse, and you see the light. I can't see that. There's nothing there in reality. It's strange, but yeah. Anyway, this is the mouse for the Amiga from Retro Games Limited, USB mouse. It's a little underscale, ironically. We're going to build an underscale Mac. Then let's have an underscale mouse. It's not quite the Apple mouse because it's 2-button, but it's a good analog. It works and looks about right. So that's what we've been using, and yeah, I think that's really, really cool. Right, we're going to move on to another project shortly, so if we need to shut this down. Actually, that's the point. Just quickly, what happens if I go special, shut down? I bet you it resets. Yeah, so it's never possible. It's not possible to shut it down. So just have to pull the power off like that. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to look at something else very shortly. So I think another tea break is in order. I'm going to leave you with some pages from the BBS, kindly supplied by Brian Martin. Give me about, I'll try to be less than 5 minutes, but give me 5-10 minutes and we'll be right back. And a very warm welcome back to 8 till 8 live on youtube.com/Wi-Fi sheep. I was just seeing there in the comments, Brian saying, got to say the music Tom chose for this is really superb. Really enjoyed it. Exquisite taste. Thank you, Brian. The fiver is in the post. Yeah, it was. So it was just going off kind of what I remember from pages on the CFAX on the BBC back in the day when they used to have the CFAX teletext service in Vision. We never had a teletext compatible television, so and I just remember that in the very early mornings. So it was that, or it was Test Card F, the test card with the clown and girl. And I have a version of that. It's not loaded in at the moment, but I do have a test card based on that image that I have used for streaming in the past. Anyway, right, welcome back. Right, next thing I'm going to talk about is it's down here, stretch. By the way, I apologise if there's now clonking sound downstairs. That is the dog who has been given a bone with some treats and is throwing it around the floor. Anyway, right. So you might be very aware, because I showed you it last week, that I have just done a sponsored product review video for KickPi, and KickPi sent me this, and you've probably seen the video. It's now gone live, and yeah, it's okay. It's fine. It's very good value, I have to say. I will say that it is good value. Under £30 off Amazon. It's very, very good. And here it is. Now, obviously now we're sort of at the back end of my contractual obligations. I can say things now, or we can talk about things briefly with this that I couldn't do before. So the KickPi, this is the K2B, I think it is. That's the model number. And it uses the all-winner ARM H6-18 chipset. You can see it actually here, H6-18. A few people in the comments got in touch and said that actually this board would actually run some other images that is not designed for it, such as those from Orange Pi, especially those Armbian. So basically, if you're not familiar, Armbian, it's a version of Linux Raspbian. No, sorry, Debian. Sorry, not Raspbian, Debian. And we can go to that website actually. There we go. I've got too many buttons to press, that's the problem. I'm losing where I am. Okay. So we go to Armbian. Basically, Armbian is kind of the saviour for anything that's not Raspberry Pi. Basically, well, that's not the right button. If you go to Downloads, and you go All, Community Maintained, you'll see that basically there is a version of the Armbian Debian operating system for an awful lot of non-Pi or off-Pi type products, to the point now where some manufacturers are actually relying on this as opposed to actually supplying their own images. Now, it was brought to my attention that some of the Orange Pi images, such as the Orange Pi, let's find it, 00203, apparently the image for this does actually work here on the KickPi product. Basically, a lot of these use the same reference design. It's the same processor. It's the same memory map. So a lot of them are just sort of variations of the same design. However, it's not particularly well maintained. It's community maintained. And one of the boards that is actually maintained is the Banana Pi M40, which again uses the same H6-18 or 18 chip. And you might remember that I actually did, again, another sponsored thing with Banana Pi a little while ago, and they sent me one of those boards. So this was their product. It's in a Pi Zero form factor. It's actually more powerful than the Pi Zero, Pi 2 put together. Now, obviously, at the time, I can't talk about a rival's product when I'm meant to be promoting said product. So there it is. But it got me thinking. These are both using, see it here, they're using exactly the same. Let me just zoom in a bit, so sorry, we're a bit far out again. Apologies for the blurry vision, just give me a moment. So H618, you can see here H618, it's exactly the same chip. Now, I do have the Banana Pi operating system, that's the one they supplied, on SD card. If I take the SD card out, that is the KickPi image, I put this image in. I have no idea, so I don't know if this is going to work, but would that even boot? It might, and it'd be very interesting if it did. So, let's plug in HDMI. Let's grab ourselves a Raspberry Pi 4 power source. So we need USB-C for this, so 5 volt USB-C. So in we go. Let's power up and see what happens now. If it doesn't like it, it'll probably just jump straight to... No way. It's booting it. It's booting it. They do work. Obviously, I can't say this while I'm doing the unboxing and review of the sponsored product. I had a feeling this might be the case. We'll see how far it gets. It might decide it's not happy with something. But yeah, it's not a bad board for the price. Not sure, and someone else commented about how I think we may have got stuck, you know, but that's curiously interesting that we've even got that far, in all honesty. Yeah, so a lot of these boards will actually just will run each other's image. So it does beg the question, and I've got a 16 gig card here. I just wondered if maybe I've downloaded the Ambient image for Banana Pi. It might hang again, but if we flash that to SD card, I wonder if that would work. So again, I probably shouldn't be doing flashing to on the streaming PC while we're streaming, because it'll probably go, no, not happy. I think that's hung somehow. I don't think we're going to get any further. There is a little user reset switch on the side of this, so let's just see if we do a reset, if it'll go through. That is quite hilarious though, that it will actually attempt to boot it. While that's running, I'm just going to do a very quick reflash of this SD card, so just bear with me. I think it's probably going to get there and get stuck, unfortunately. Okay, yeah, I think we're going to get stuck, so still curiously interesting that it got that far. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so that sort of works. So what I'm going to try now, it might do the same thing, but we just cut back to where are we? Again, apologies, it's going to go, there we go. Apologies for that. Right, so if we now, so I've got the new drive just flashed, and if we go Blina Etcher, again, I probably shouldn't be trying to do this on the same PC I'm streaming on, but never mind. Right, so we're going to flash from a file, downloads. I have this ambient image. Select target being that, select, and we'll flash. We'll see how long that takes to flash. Windows always throws a bit of a wobbly on it. This might work. I mean, they did say it was the ambient images that worked, so failing that, we could always try the Orange Pi image. But we'll see if that gets through. Right, so apologies, 1 minute. There we go. But yeah, so it's curious, isn't it? Pop that. I forgot there was an SD card in there. Normally, if I'm not using these boards, I'll take the SD cards out and use them for something else. But you know, I mean, they're all good in different ways. They're all just pretty much using the same parts, to be honest with you. Pop that back in there. So yeah, I mean, we're talking about the KickPi product, and this particular one, yeah, I mean, it does quite well as a streaming box with its. If you don't have an SD card in it and you boot it up, it goes into. I'll show you this. It goes into a build of Android. I haven't got a keyboard or a mouse in it, so this is just running straight off the eMMC. So you could reflash this, and you have a version of Android that, yeah, I mean, it's okay. It does the job. Not a huge Android user. If you wanted to build, I suppose, like a set-top box or something, it'd probably be sufficient for that. I'm just waiting to see how long this is. Oh, this is going to take a while to flash. That's annoying. This is why I don't do this live, because it takes forever, and I knew it was going to take forever. Damn it. Okay. But it turns out there might be an image that's not supported by this that runs, and it might be an ambient image, basically. So we'll come back to that. So let's pop those out the way for the minute and talk about what we're going to do next. If we might come back to that, failing that, I'll do that next week. Okay, so final thing I want to talk about tonight, and I'm going to have to go and grab some bits very shortly, is to do Retro Clinic and the data center. So where we are with that is the data center is down here. It's in a box. And I bought, because it was missing its 34 pin cable, so I bought that. We've got the ROMs that it needs here, not tested. We had a look at the software which was on this SD card, which actually had a virus on, unfortunately. I then bought these S3-CE cards, proper old standard, 128 megabyte CE flashcards, which we haven't tested. They are used, they weren't very expensive. And then we've actually got the data center itself. So data center, for those you don't know, is a sort of hard drive, modern hard drive thing for the BBC Micro. They're not made anymore, and I was actually very lucky to be given this one. So we've actually now got this, and power supply for it has gone walkies, which is a bit annoying because I need that, otherwise we're not getting very far. Oh, beg your pardon, it's here. There it is. Right. So we went inside it last week. I've fitted the cable. Now what I need to do is we actually need to test this with a BBC Micro. So again, apologies, I'm just going to zoom you back out again. Don't need the mouse or trackpad for this, but we will need one of our BBC microphones. I've been working on 2 BBC Master 128s, which are big machines, 8-bit machines, so I need to clear some desk space because I don't actually have enough desk space to do this. Surprise, surprise. Right. Oh, okay, here we go. So this is the one from last week. Or last time, I should say. Because we didn't look at these last week, so it's been in store for a little bit. So, right, here we are then. So this is my original machine. I say original, it's the first one I had that I was given a few years ago. It needed a bit of work. So we did a bit of work in it. So we've added a new backup CMOS battery, very kindly sent to me by Richard Webb, I think it was, who sent those in, which is really kind of him. And he gave me this multi-boot ROM option. We've got the Ethernet network card, which you'll need to go to the Ethernet LAN party with a network card. And I've also got video NULA graphics enhanced card fitted as well. So there's a few upgrades and things going on in here. It's still the stock 128 K of RAM. It does have a Raspberry Pi Zero fitted in the tube interface just underneath the machine, and that gives it additional RAM and second processing capabilities. We do need a BNC. Do you remember when I couldn't find a BNC? Because I need to fit the BNC to phono. And then I need, if I can find it, another video adapter, if I can find it. I did see it the other day. Just bear with me. I was literally looking at it the other day. So what I've done is I've put it, oh there it is, I put it in a safe place. So the video signal won't be particularly brilliant, but what I've got is one of these very cheap AV to HDMI boxes. It's not as good as everything I use, but it's just quick and easy and works. So we pop that in there. We need 5 volts power, which we can get off the side, and then we're going to plug HDMI, just goes in this side. Nice thing about this, although you do have a signal and quality drop, there's no lag on it, so yeah, it works out all right. So let's just put that in. Got a little USB bench supply power there. Okay, that's on, and we should get, there we are, 720p. So if we now turn on, hey, and it's remembered settings, which is fantastic. So that's working. There's no sound because I don't think I plugged the speaker in from memory. No, it's loose. But there we go. So there'll be a little bit of artifacting on that, but fundamentally that's good enough for what we need. Okay, so going back to our overview, let's power down. And I want to put some ROMs in the machine. So let's just take this off so I can get the access to the ROMs. Now we need both these slots, unfortunately. So the BBC Master 128 has the ability to use shadow ROMs. So you can actually jettison 2 physical ROM slots and use them into 2 chips, and then you can actually soft load ROMs into the system, and it'll treat it as if it was a physical EEPROM. I actually need to fit 2 physical EEPROMs, so I'm going to put this jumper. I love the way you install software with a screwdriver. How do you install your drivers into a BBC Micro? With a screwdriver. I don't have a proper chip puller, and I'm just trying to remember what I did with that little flathead screwdriver. So we will need to take the NELA EEPROM out. And I'm just seeing in the chat, by the way, Andrew D, hello, good evening to you, by the way. Nico D did a video on how to build your own Ambient image, so you may have an interesting project. Building Linux, scary. It's like compiling C code in GCC. It's like, oh no. That and surface mount soldering. Again, no. Okay. So we have the 2 EEPROMs we're going to install. And legs are a little bit bent up on that. So let's take a pair of pliers and let's just straighten out the legs. I'm actually a bit corroded as well. I could probably really do with cleaning them up, but okay, which might be all right. So obviously making sure we install the correct way, which is notch that way, back towards the machine. What you can do as a little trick is you can just rock the pins a little bit to bend them all in a little bit. There we go. So they'll fit in the socket a little easier. There we go. That's one in. I find this foam sometimes actually causes them. Again, they're quite corroded, so we'll have to see if these actually there and work. And again, I'm just going to bend the legs just a little bit. This is the Retro Clinic image. So you need both of these, I believe. He says. I've done a lot of tinkering tonight, I tell you. Okay, come on, let's get that in. Yeah, okay, I think we're all right. Right, we're in. Excellent. Okay. So, if we now power back up. Star ROMs. What's in the system? We've got 2 versions of ACORN. We've got Master MMFS in B. Okay, so I'm assuming I should. Do you know what? We should have checked that before I put these in. I'm assuming that's now correct. Okay, so far so good. So I might, because I need a bit of extra space, I might just put the, if I can very carefully, again, that's why I'm not making a sound. That's the speaker cable, it's not plugged in even, so just going to pop the lid back on this one. Okay, that's now back in. So if we now take the drive and underneath the machine, and I might need to take the BNC off the back just so I can tilt it up. So underneath the machine, you can see, so there's the Raspberry Pi that we fitted. There's something here called 1 megahertz bus. Hoping above hope we've got this the right way around. If we open always very fit, especially when these haven't been used much before, if ever. Okay, that's now in. So the ribbon runs around the back of the machine. Like that. And that can then sort of just sit on top for a minute, like so. Power supply is here, so let's pop that in a spare slot. Power goes into the back of the unit, like that. And we could always try putting one of these CF cards. There's 2 slots for CF. CF in 0, which I think is the 1 and /0 is the top. Okay, like that. Right. Obviously, you need to remember to put our video lead back in. Brian's coming to save the day. I'll have to unplug the top ads ROM as it's high priority. The IDE version 6 needs to be used. Oh, hang on. Good spot. Right, hang on a minute. Let's just turn back on then. And okay. Actually, I need to unplug my tube interface as well, because that's probably going to interfere with things. Let's just do that quick. So FX 151230. Turn you off on 14. Okay, that turns that off. ROMs. Yes. So am I turning off? What am I turning off? D? No. I'm confused. What am I doing? So I'm turning off. Am I turning off D and? I'm turning off D. Yeah. So we go unplug. Is that unplug? Unplug ROM D. Hang on, what am I doing? Why is that a bad command? Hang on, I'm being really dumb now. Brian, if you're still there. Yeah, we need to take D-ROM out of actually, do you know what? Oh, and D. Really? Oh. There you go. You learn something every day. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Okay, so let's have a look. So OS view we don't really need. we've taken the older version of ADFS offline. We've got basic in 7, master MF. Should be all right then, he says. So if I now go control break, just do a reset. I now have to very boringly consult the manual, which is here. So let's just have a quick look on. So it's lucky I've got the manual really. So I do need to read properly. So yeah, we've done that. We've done that. Interestingly, it's indicating something on. Is this green light on USB 2? Nothing on CF. Curious. Again, I'm hoping we've got the cable in the right way around. Yep. Yep. Okay. Oh look, just by chance, I think I have installed them in the right place. So we've unplugged the original, yes. Yep. Okay. Now we have to start the operating system to use ADF as our default filing system. So, okay, right. Because we don't know if this is working, but we'll give it a go. So, configure file 4. Okay. Okay, so this is a new bit on formatting a new card. So, okay, so we need to load the HD initializer, HD init program. So we call, if this works, we call RAM. Oh, we're not happy. We're not happy. What haven't we done? See, I'm not overly sure this is working correctly. I missed something. Let's just do a control break again. RAM card, no. Well, it's got the master filing system, master MMFS. Unplug 13. Just says something about unplugging 5, so we might just try that. So unplug 5. Not happy. There's nothing in 5 to be unplugged, so... It's interesting how it's not actually reading MF. Do we not need MMFS though? Haven't I just literally just put the ROM in for that? That's my only... By the way, hello David, how are you this evening? Hang on, what have I put? What the hell have I actually put in this? No, I put RAMFS in, haven't I? So, we don't even need that. It's because I'm running a slightly strange... we flip back to a more stock image. It's the wrong ROM. Yeah. I knew that. I knew that. I didn't know that. Okay. So we can go and... Learning here. Learning is happening, people. And B. Now we've gone to EconNet. What is going on with this? I mean, it's... Okay. I don't know what the hell I'm doing now. Right. So we've now gone into Ethernet station mode. Oh god. Okay, this is all fun, isn't it? Yeah. We might have to switch back. Hang on. Let me think about this. I don't need ANFS in, do I? Yes, we have just put in the RAMFS ROM. That's what we've just done. And you'll need that working to format the SD card. Yes. So, hang on, we've missed something isn't quite right here. I can tell. So let's just power off. Okay. So because I've got this switch, let's switch back a build. Power on. Okay. What builded OS is this? What on earth is that build? Hang on, sorry, I know you can't see that. Okay, so I have, these are the two ROMs I had. I have Acorn DFS 1.53, 1.55, and I have RetroClinic RAMFS, which it clearly isn't seeing, and I don't know what on earth of an OS that is. Hang on, where are we? I don't know what on earth that is. So no, back again. Try that. Okay, that's more what I expect to see. Have I just gone back the way I came? Probably. Yes. Wrong way. I really need to get this switch installed properly. So the RAMFS ROM might not be running, which might be an issue. For God's sake. Right. Pick an OS and stick with it, basically. It's not seeing it, is it? It's not seeing it, which is part of our problem. Right. That's not fun. Okay, so, and again, I don't know what the state, these legs on these look pretty corroded. I said I don't know what state any of this stuff is in, you see, so, I need to get a chip puller, really. Let's just put in this one so we know that this does work in the slot. So let's just put that in. Try that. Have I got the link in the wrong way? Hang on. I might have the link in the wrong way. Just bear with me a minute. I might have the link in the wrong way. Nope. I had the link in the wrong way. Some points I'll win. Until then, okay. So if that's now in, take this one back out, pop this one back in. I could really do a cleaning the legs up, but nice crunchy sound. Okay. Oh God. What on earth has just gone wrong now? Try that again. It's not happy. It's really not happy. FX 151230 14 turns that off. What on earth is going on? Okay. For some reason, I'm now unplugged. Why have I now unplugged? Right, what is going on with this? I need to now reinstate. Oh, hang on. ROM 5. Configure. Can't even spell configure. No, because I spelled that wrong, like an idiot. Right, hang on. Insert. Thank you. I knew it was insert. Yeah, I knew that. I didn't. Oh, God. What is going on with this? What is going on with this? This isn't right. Let me power down a minute. Oops. Right. So if I now go RAM, chain, four dot HD in it, which is HD initialize. Oh, okay. We're okay. Connect drive set 16-bit. Yes. Okay. D select drive. Zero. Format drive. Yes. Yes. Okay. I current drive 120. Yes, yes. Okay, press exit. Reset system. Did that do a thing then? I don't know. Okay. So okay. What, Control A? Yeah, it's not happy about something. There's something not quite right. We're getting tangled up in knots again. I'm doing that, and I am doing that, and we're getting that. So there's something not quite right here. which is fun. Right, power down. That might be too far the other way. That's not going to work. Right. What is going on with this? Something can't be right. Something cannot be right. I might unplug a... Nope, hang on. Star, unplug and a... Right. Okay. And control, and Brian's coming in with control R for RAM FS. Right, we're getting somewhere. Okay. We are now getting somewhere, thank God. Right. So... Okay. Okay. So, I don't know. I'm assuming that works. I don't know. So what are you suggesting? Star DR4. I have not read the manual, so I'll just go off DR.4. Chain. HD. The format program for ADFS SD cards is in Drive. Ah, right, okay. Okay. So, investigate drive. I'm glad someone's here who knows what they're doing. Investigate drive. Okay. Okay, so ADF drives 0. Where are we? 8-bit size. Okay, so select. What am I doing? I was selecting 0 again. Okay, and then I'm guessing I'm formatting that. Am I right? I'll say yes. Why we keep getting that, I don't know what that is about. But anyway. Okay. RAMFS. Cat. Okay. I'm assuming that's kind of about right. So I meant to mount something at some point. I've not got. Okay. This is called need to go and read the manual to see if this is working properly. But it's something like that. I think it's sort of working. I think it's more user error is the problem at the moment. Okay. So, yeah, I guess that's sort of working. Just like, what is that about? Strange. Anyway, okay. So, yeah. I guess it's sort of working. I'm not getting a light for these CF, so maybe something not right. We don't know if these cards are any good, though. That's the thing. I do need to check that. But, yeah, all right. That needs some further investigation. Probably not while I'm live streaming, because it makes extremely boring and frustrating content for both of us. Yeah, I mean, I'll openly admit I don't know what the F I'm doing. But it'd be nice to try and get this running. Yeah, I know. Could be bad. The cards could be bad, but have to be formatted first. Yeah. Oh, no, I totally accept that I don't know what I'm doing. That's why I bought a few of the cards, because they are used. I don't know what state they're in all honesty. Right. Well, that was happening. The SD card has finished SD carding, if that's such a thing. So we have that. Oops, that's the wrong one. We have it here. So I'm just thinking, let's power down this device. Let's put the lid back on. Getting stuff trapped in it. Okay, there we go. Right. Put that there for a minute. So, we were trying to see what would actually run on the KickPi K2B, which is this board here, which was given to me as a sponsored thing. We've just flashed an image for a Banana Pi, which is actually meant for the Banana Pi 0, whatever that one was, but it uses the same all-winner chips. So, let's just see very quickly how well, if well, that works. So we'll cut back to screen capture. Let's see what happens. Let me just check I've got that image in correctly. Might have some sound now. I don't know if is anyone there. No idea. Right, apologies about that. We had a bit of an outage. This has really messed things up. So I don't know if anyone is still there that can actually hear me. Right, there are some people. Apologies about that. Yeah, no, literally, we just had a blip and it just took the PC out. So obviously, everything has just gone rather dark and dull. So apologies about that. I was about to call it a night anyway. But yeah, just to update you on. I don't know if I've even got any of the cameras working. No, hang on. Yeah, so basically, no, it's not running properly with this image in, but yeah, at all. So that's interesting. Sorry, I'm all flustered now. So yeah, that's a bit annoying. So we'll turn that off. Anyway, yeah. So what an end to an eventful evening. yeah, so I will. What I'm going to do is I will try that orange pie image, but I'll do it obviously in my own time. And I was going to see if we can get this data center up and running properly. And I just need to read the manual, which I haven't done yet. So my bad for that. So if you haven't done so already, please do consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Channel members are so much stuff has broken this evening. Channel members, there they are. They're there for you. Thank you, Andrew. Well done for getting sorted. Yeah, it was just literally, yeah, I'm sort of sorted. Hopefully you can see everything. I am back, but yeah, we're not in a great place right now. So everything's a bit dark and dingy. Everything's kind of just gone offline, so it's a bit annoying. Anyway. Yeah, so as I said, channel members are there. So thanks once again to everybody. Many of you actually in the chat. Patreon.com/Wi-Fi Sheep if you want to support me over on Patreon. Alternatively, as I said, YouTube, where are we? YouTube channel members are there. Starting from 99 pence all the way up to 2.99 right here on YouTube. Just have to click the join button. We're going to have a video coming up very shortly. So I've just shot the actual building and testing of the Mini Mac Pico video, which we were playing with earlier on today, or this evening in the video, in the live stream rather, and that'll be coming up for members very shortly. As I said, plenty more coming up. I've got other stuff I'm working on at the moment, so we'll be doing more stuff. A reminder about the show dates as well. So Christmas dates. That's not the right... What is going on with this? I'm not in the right... Oh, I know why. Right, that's awkward. I'm not in the right... This has really, really messed this up. Yeah, that's really messed up, actually. Where am I in the moment for this? Oh, I've lost the... I'm amazed we're even live stream. I've lost the profiles in OBS, so something has gone horribly wrong somewhere. So I'm amazed you can actually see me at all. If I'm still there at all, I am. There we are. Hopefully I'm still there. Yeah, no, this has gone horribly wrong this evening. So what I was trying to say before it all went horribly wrong. Channel members, there we go. Channel members are there, so thanks once again to everybody. Sorry, I've really thrown me now because this is all not working properly. What I was trying to say was show dates, which is that one there. So yes, the Econet party from the National Museum of Computing, Bletchley Park, is on the 7th and 8th of June 2025. I'm going there for both days. Be great to see you. Tickets are now online. Just search for it online. I did put it in the chat a little earlier. Unfortunately, I've lost all the setup I had. So, oh dear. And yeah, so we've got to try and get this Boost Micro up and running with this system. So thanks for once again to everybody who has assisted. I've now lost the camera for some reason, so it's all going a bit horribly wrong. So I think we're going to just we'll cut our losses and call it a night. So hopefully, there we go. At least something works. So at the time, 17 minutes past 10 here in the UK GMT, 1700 hours GMT. Thank you once again, everyone, for your company. Apologies for the slightly spluttery end to the episode. So we just had an outage and everything just went splat. I will be back same time from 2000 hours GMT next week, where hopefully I'll have a bit of progress somewhere. Once again, thank you so much for your company. If you haven't done so already, please do consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you real soon. Until then, wherever you are, have a fantastic evening. Good night.